Hello everyone, welcome to Card Making Fundamentals and welcome to the Phone a Friend classroom. I'm super excited you're here with me today. Today is our final lesson. I am super excited about the Phone a Friend classroom and I know you guys are having a blast with me. Thank you so much for being a part of the classroom. Today we're going to create with our lesson kit number 4, our final card today, and we are going to go ahead and take that out of our package. And we're going to jump in and get started. Before we get started, we need to go over the supplies that we're going to need. You're going to need some glue, and you also need your tape runner. We're going to do a little bit of stamping, so you're going to need your purple ink and also your red ink for this classroom. For your sentiment, we're going to need black ink. So 3 inks. We have purple, black, and red. I have a Sweet Plum, Tuxedo Black, and Love Letter from Memento. And then we are going to need a craft pick. We have a few heart gems that we're going to use for our card today. And then acrylic block, of course, to stamp our images. And then we're going to need some wipes or something to clean off your stamp when you're done stamping. Other than that, I think we are good to go. Everything else is in the kit. So let's jump in. Since we have all of our inks out, we're going to stamp our sentiments and our telephones. So we'll put everything else aside and let's open up our package. Inside of our package there is a piece of white cardstock. In this package you have 2 of your eyelashes that I called them in lesson number 1. You don't want to lose those. Normally I would put them in our little embellishment bag, but they're floating around with your papers here, so they might be tucked underneath here, so double check. I gave you 2 of them, so find those and set those off to the side. Put your pattern papers aside and take your white cardstock panel. We're going to start by stamping, so let's grab our stamp set and we're going to stamp a purple phone and a red phone for today's card. So let's take our phone base and we'll stamp that with our red ink. My red ink is Memento's Love Letter. And we'll stamp this on the bottom. There's plenty of room. I'm going to go ahead and wipe off my base. And then we're going to add our receiver here. Let's ink this up and stamp this on the bottom as well. And we're going to stamp next. We're not going to worry about the inside today. We're going to use colored cardstock in a gem. So we'll put our red ink aside and we're going to stamp with our purple ink. I'm using Memento Sweet Plum. We'll stamp our receiver first since we already had that on our block. We'll clean this off and grab our phone base. And we can stamp this as well. Two phones today. So we'll put this back and then in our, and we'll put our ink back too. While we're stamping, inside of our embellishment bag here, there are some small thought bubbles. And we need 3 of them. So I gave you extras because I wanted, in case we make a mistake. But 2 of them are going to be facing the same way with the little point towards the left. And then 1 of them is going to face with the point towards the right. So you can see how they're positioned here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. In our stamp set, there's a block letter hello. We'll take that. And then in each one of these little thought bubbles, we're going to stamp our hello with our black ink. And I'm using Tuxedo Black. Your favorite black ink would work great for this. And this so happens that the stamp will fit perfectly inside that thought bubble. So it's very easy to center it. And we're going to stamp hello 3 times in each one of these. Wonderful. Didn't even have to get a new thought bubble. So that's all the stamping we're going to do. We're going to put away our stamp set in our ink. I hope you're enjoying the classroom so far. I think this is a fun stamp set. Okay, we're going to take our scissors and fussy cut out our telephones. Going to leave, again, for these a little bit of a white border. Now if you guys have extra, like you're going to have 3 extra hellos, if you go through your paper pads, you could probably replicate another card using different pattern papers. That's the nice thing about having extras. And we'll just follow along our phones. You guys should be pros at cutting out these phones. Of course, if you guys have a scan and cut, you could always scan and cut out your images and do lots at one time. That's the nice thing about a scan and cut machine. I don't have one of those. I don't mind fussy cutting though. My throat's a little bit scratchy, sorry. Okay, we're all finishing up with our red receiver here, and we're good to go. Phones are all done. Now, we'll go ahead and work on our back. Actually, let's build our phones. It makes it easier. Let's take our little cords here for our phone, and we're going to do what we did with lesson number 1. We're going to kind of line up the way we want our phone to go, and then using our glue, I'm going to add a little dot of glue. And again, I'm going to put the tighter loop on the bottom. I think it fits better. And then the more open loop on the top where the receiver goes. And I'm just going to add a small dot of glue. You don't take much. And I'm going to tuck my phone under here. The nice thing about glue is you have a little bit of wiggle room to position it where you want it. So once I'm happy, I'll just hold them down. And then that one is good to go. We'll set this aside. And we'll do the same thing with our purple phone. The smaller loop on the bottom. Add a dot of glue to the top and the bottom here. And then we can kind of tuck it underneath and hold it down. Making sure I have it where I want it there. Excuse me. And then our phone, for the most part, I just love those little cords. I think they're adorable. Okay, inside of our embellishment bag, we might as well finish off our phones. Let's take everything out. And there's actually a couple more green circles. We're going to take those and add this is where your craft pick will come in handy. Pick up one of these little heart gemstones and put one in each one, and not all of them. I have 3 hearts. You're going to have extra, but we just need 2. So you're going to put a gemstone in 2 of the green circles here, kind of centering them. That works out good. We have extra. We just put back in our little bag here. Okay, that's done. I'm going to go ahead and add little dots of glue to the center of each of our phones. Of course, if you want to add dimension to this, you could pop this up with foam adhesive, but I think the gem's going to give me enough dimension. So I'm just going to add my gem with my green circle in the middle of my phones here. Like so. So our phones are done. We'll set this aside to let them dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to put my little speech bubbles back in my bag here. Okay, we have our pattern paper. Let's build our background. We're going to start, I wanted to put a little zigzag border on the side of my panel. So we're going to go along that red dotted zigzag line again. I think we did this for card number 1, lesson number 1. Just follow that zigzag, the red zigzag, around, and then it kind of creates your own zigzag border that's evenly spaced, like so. And then I'm going to trim, we don't need all of it, so I'm just going to trim my panel in half. If you want to make another zigzag, you could. I'm going to add tape on, not the zigzag part, the left side of my zigzag. Add some adhesive, and then using my purple polka dot pattern paper, we're going to add our zigzag to the bottom, just so a little bit of it's hanging over, like so. Next, we're going to take our panel, and then we're going to flip this over. Add some adhesive behind here. Then this is going to go on our card base. We can't really center it because of the zigzag, so we're going to put it a little bit more towards the left. You can see here, so our zigzag can be shown. Now we're going to take our striped paper and our red paper. I want to make sure that we are even. So we should have did this before, but okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to lift up my purple polka dot paper, and I'm going to measure the width of it and then trim off the excess. I'm sorry. Bad teacher. I just want to do this so we don't have to do it later, because we're going to pop these pieces up so that we can put this back down on our card base. Okay. Now what we're going to do is take our stripe paper and our red cardstock. We're going to layer both of these together. So flipping over our striped pattern paper, I'm going to adhere this over our red pattern paper. Our stripe paper is 1 inch, is a 1 inch strip, and we are going to add our red paper over the top portion of it at about a 3/4 inch strip. So if you want to use a ruler to get it straight, you could, but I think that's going to work out great. And you want to make sure that these are the same width as your purple polka dot paper. If you have to do a little bit of trimming, like so, you can. That will just make it a little bit easier. Now after we have our stripe paper adhered, we're going to flip this around. I'm going to add adhesive on the lower portion on the reverse side of the striped, and then we have our little lattice piece. It's in a diamond shape. Find the point of it that makes sense. I trimmed it to where you could see the point of the lattice here. Now if it's this way, you have it the wrong way, because there's no point. Well, I guess there is kind of a point, but you want to find the diamond shaped lattice, and then we're going to tack this down behind our stripe paper, kind of centering it. Basically, it looks like almost like a top of a pencil. That would be really cute. Now we're going to flip this over, bring in our foam adhesive, and we're going to add some foam tape behind this this panel here, our pencil shaped panel. And you know what, before I go any further, I'm going to take my baker's twine here, and we're going to tie a bow. And the bow's going to go on our stripe paper, so line it up behind our stripes, wrap it around, and tie a bow. Actually, we're going to tie a bow off to the right for this one. Okay. I think that looks nice. And we can even out the twine, and then we can trim the tails of our baker's twine. We have a little bit extra, we could put that in our bag. And we can continue adding foam adhesive behind the back side. So I like to add the foam adhesive over the baker's twine so I know it's not going to shift. And I'm going to add one more piece right in the middle here so it doesn't sag. So once we have foam adhesive behind this odd shaped panel, I just like different kind of styles of cards. I just think it makes it nice to shake up the style of your cards. Okay. We'll remove the release paper, take our pencil, and then this is going to go on our card here towards the top. Good deal. And then I'm going to take my paper clip and we're going to do what we did with card number 1. We're going to add that to our bow, like so. After we have that done, we have our phones. We're going to flip around our phones and we're going to add some foam squares. One foam square behind our phone here. And then I'm going to put some foam adhesive behind each one of our hellos. I'm going to put 2 behind each one of those. And then I have 2 left. I'm actually going to trim this down. Actually, instead of trimming the foam squares down, I'm going to use my foam tape. I like how solid it feels. But I'm going to add foam tape to the top of my receiver there. I'm going to just trim down a thin strip here. And put that down the center. I think that's going to work out great. Okay, we'll put this back. Now we have to remove the release paper off of our phones here, and also our sentiments. We're going to adhere our phones first. Now the square foam adhesive is not very forgiving, so once it's down for good. So we're going to adhere these at the same time. So I'm going to pick up my purple phone first, and then I'm going to flip over and pick up my red phone. And I'm going to hold them from corner to corner, and I'm going to kind of crisscross them like so over the baker's twine here, and then I'm going to crisscross them like this. And then I know they're on there for good. Okay, we have our sentiments that say hello. So let's remove the release paper off of these. Okay, I'm going to put one hello up here. And then I'm going to put a couple of them over on this side. Let's see, where are we going to put them? I think on this side it's going to work out great. Kind of at an angle. Looks nice. And I'm not going to add any glitter or crystal glaze to this card. I think the gems are sparkly enough. But that will finish off lesson number 4 for today. I hope you enjoyed this classroom so much. Let's zoom out. We're going to take a look at all of our projects that we made with the Phone a Friend classroom. So this is our 4th project. And then we have our 3rd project. We used a little wire for a little bit of texture. And then we did add a little bit of sparkle to that heart using our diamond glaze and glitter. That's card number 3. We did a lot of fussy cutting with lesson number 2, but I think it's so worth it. And then you have the little shiny hearts in the center of our phone. That's lesson number 2. Hey, sweet friend. And then for our very first card, just wanted to say hello. I think these are some fun, just because hello cards. I hope you enjoyed the classroom and enjoyed the projects. I sure did, and had a lot of fun with the Phone a Friend classroom. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day. And on the 1st of the month, there's a brand new classroom coming out. So if you sign up for our newsletter over at cardmakingfundamentals.com, you can be notified when there's a new classroom, and you can check out the introduction, which tells you everything that's in the classroom and the kit contents and all that good stuff. Have a great day. We will see you soon.